Same scenario here. You got 3 drives. You got one on the supply fan, you got one on the exhaust fan, you got one on the energy wheel. Y'all got energy wheels in other places around here? Okay. These are 580. The operation on these are the same way as the other drives, other than they're mounted out in the weather, so they got a watertight cover over the keypad. Same scenario, like this one here is running 66.75 hertz. Now, while we're on the hertz, let me tell you this. Used to in the old days, you never wanted to run a 60 hertz motor above 60 hertz, right? Well, them rules are all changed because all the motors nowadays have heavy duty windings in them. So you can take a 60 hertz motor and overhertz it, okay? As long as you're within the full load amps of that motor, you can run it. So now what happens is, balance guys do not change shields like they used to in belts and all that stuff. They just overhertz the motor in order to get the airflow that's required. So like right now, this motor here is not maxed out. It's running 7 volts, which 10 volts is full speed, and it's running 66.75 hertz. So don't get alarmed if you see it running over 60 hertz. I've been on a couple jobs here lately where the electrician said, well, you're not supposed to run the motor over 60. So he went back into the limits on the drive and limited it, and then we were short of airflow. They set them that way because of air balance of what it takes, okay? So, just remember, it's not uncommon to see this drive, and those drives in there can run 600 hertz out of the box. They can, as long as the full load amps is not exceeding the amps of the drive. So, like right now, 66 hertz is running like 21 amps. So, same scenario here. That you have a drive that runs it. Now, the other thing is you got multiple fan motors, okay? So what they do nowadays is they put one drive running 4 motors, okay? Each one of those motors has its own overload, all right? So what happens is this drive is rated for the amps of all 4 motors. Does that make sense? And so it's running all 4 motors together, okay? Should one of those motors fail, most likely it's going to trip the overload before it trips the drive, okay? So if you come out here, you get a call, I don't have enough airflow, or I smell something weird, or something like that, the first thing you might want to check is check your overloads to see if one of those are tripped. Because if one of those is tripped, it means something happened, either with the wiring or with the motor, okay? So, the other good thing about that is, should you lose a motor, this drive can run the other 3. You can leave it turned off here to overload, and they can keep running. It doesn't shut the unit down. Okay? So, this drive's running 4 motors. These are the overloads for the 4 motors. And if you do PM amperage, you can check the amperage on each motor right here individually. It's being fed straight off the drive here, going into this bus bar, and then it's separated to each motor.
We stay confused out here. You didn't record that, did you?
Nobody watches. Except y'all, hopefully.
Now, one thing I didn't go over earlier that I'm supposed to is, y'all all know lockout and tag out, right?
Right.
Y'all all know that you have moving parts with pumps and fans, right? So, you all know that you should lock out and tag out. Y'all know that you should log out, tag out before you go inside an air handler, right? Don't be a hero and get your tie wrapped up around that fan. I did owner training one time, and I had office guy went in there with a towel and it got hung in a belt. And I didn't tell them to lock out, tag out before we went in there, so they sued. So each one of these disconnects, when you turn it off, this pulls out. You can lock it, tag it out. All right. Same scenario, okay? This only has one motor. And then the exhaust fans, that's the wheel. The exhaust fans that we can climb up if you'd like is up there. So y'all know how that wheel works. It pulls air across that wheel. As that wheel is spinning, depending on the entering air humidity and the leaving air humidity, the entering air temperature and the leaving air temperature, and that energy wheel picks up moisture out of the air. Theoretically, it will drop the incoming air temperature 10 degrees. Okay? It sucks that moisture in that wheel. As it turns, the exhaust fans, so air's coming, the wheel's turning, the air's coming in here, the wheel catches the moisture. As it turns, the exhaust fan sucks it back off the wheel and puts it back out in the atmosphere. That's basically how an energy wheel works, other than the fact that it's a dissonant, which is what that paper stuff in the wheel is. It's designed to catch moisture in the air. In the wintertime, as it's spinning, it will actually heat the air temperature up about 10 degrees from what it is outside. Maintenance on these, they do have greasable motors on them. We can shut it down. You can look at them. Y'all know about not over-greasing motors, because when you over-grease a motor, you blow the seal out, and then the grease gets in the windings, and then the motor deteriorates. Okay? Any questions? Do we need to shut it down and let you look at it? I mean, I don't mind. Okay. All right. The drain pan in this air handler is stainless steel. I don't know if y'all use drain tablets, drain strips, clog free, or whatever you use, if you use anything. Remember, that's a stainless steel pan. Don't put something in there that'll deteriorate that stainless steel pan. All the damper controls, everything in here, of course, is controlled by y'all's control shops. Questions?
I got everything I need.
Here in the world of the operation of this system, and I haven't read the sequence, the complete sequence. This exhaust fan comes on, that damper up there opens, and this purges the building, okay? It pulls air out of the building and throws it to the atmosphere, okay? Is what this fan does. It does have a VFD on it. The VFD was right inside the door. Okay? It does have a discharge damper on it. So basically what happens is the damper up there opens. It sucks air in here. This damper opens and it blows it to the outside world. Now, the control guys will have to explain to you their sequence on that. Because I wasn't privy to when that happens.
I have no idea.
Yeah. So, what do you think?
Boston.
Huh?
Boston.
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 He said he already hooked it all up. He didn't need to come over.
So he got everything already under his
That's
little
what he said.
phone deal, so he's happy.
So,
That's who we call anyhow.
Yeah.
so
It's our first call.
the service on this, you can take this plate off after you disconnect it and lock it out, and you can clean it should it ever get dirty. The fan will. Service of the motor, you got a trap door here, and the top here comes off to get to it. It does have air louvers here for the motor to get air from outside world. This is a disconnect, but as I said, you do have a VFD inside the building. I don't know when this actually works. It's probably some kind of purge thing when they the welder smokes the building up or something. I mean, this is kind of a Botec building, so you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Questions? We good? Boy, y'all too easy. It's not even lunch yet.